around too much. We did make it down to the MLK Center and stuff, even though it was closed, and the Baha'i Center was closed. But at least, my son was visiting, and we went down there for a little bit. But
oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Anyway, I was there like 30 years ago where you are, and it's changed a lot
No,
since
I'm
then.
in Michigan.
Well, no, the center.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've been in Michigan. I've been in Michigan for 5.5 years.
Yeah.
The background, virtual background.
Yeah. That's wonderful. I don't care where you are. I love you.
Friends, we're going to go ahead and get started. Barbara has us rolling online there. So, Allahu Akbar, dear friends. God is most glorious. Welcome to the Sunday morning devotional program sponsored by the Spiritual Assemblies of the Baha'is of South DeKalb County and Sandy Springs, Georgia. So wonderful to have all of you with us. Beautiful faces. Across the globe, the teachings of the Baha'i faith brought to us more than 150 years ago by His Holiness Baha'u'llah, its founder, and whose name in Arabic means the glory of God. His teachings have inspired and continue to inspire individuals and communities as they strive to improve their own lives and contribute to the advancement of civilization. Baha'i beliefs address such essential themes as the oneness of God and religion, the oneness of humanity and freedom from all forms of prejudice, the inherent nobility of the human being, the progressive revelation of religious truth, a gradual unfolding of God's purpose with the appearance of each divine teacher, the development of spiritual qualities, which allows us to reflect the image God made us in, the integration of worship and service with work performed in the spirit of service, actually being counted as worship in the eyes of God, the fundamental equality of the sexes, more widely evidenced in a setting of equal opportunity, the harmony between religion and science as an established fact, the centrality of justice in all human endeavor, the importance of education, particularly for children, and the dynamics of the relationships that strive to bind together individuals, communities, and institutions as humanity advances towards maturity. Friends, we've been having some amazing programs every week, and today will be no different. We're pleased to have you all join us. Again, welcome. We'll begin with the opening devotions. Barbara? Please mute yourselves unless you are speaking. Elizabeth.
Say God sufficeth all things, above all things, and nothing in the heavens or in the earth but God sufficeth. Verily, he is in himself the knower, the sustainer, the omnipotent, of all.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Assam.
Is there any remover of difficulties save God? Say, praise be God. He is God. All are his servants, and all abide by his bindings. Above.
Thank you, Assam. Kathy.
My God, whom I worship and adore, I bear witness unto thy unity and thy oneness, and acknowledge thy gifts both in the past and in the present. Thou art the all-bountiful, the overflowing showers of whose mercy have rained down upon high and low alike, and the splendors of whose grace have been shed over both the obedient and the rebellious. O God of mercy, before whose door the quintessence of mercy hath bowed down, and round the sanctuary of whose cause loving kindness in its inmost spirit hath circled, we beseech thee, entreating thine ancient grace, and seeking thy present favor, that thou mayest have mercy upon all who are the manifestations of the world of being, and deny them not the outpourings of thy grace in thy days. All are but poor and needy, and thou verily art the all-possessing, the all-subduing, the all-powerful. Baha'u'llah.
Thank you, Kathy. Yasmin.
O my God, O my God, verily I invoke thee and supplicate for thy treasury, asking thee that all thy mercies may descend upon these souls, specialize them for thy favor and thy truth. O Lord, unite and bind together the hearts, join in accord all the souls, and exhilarate the spirits through the signs of thy sanctity and oneness. O Lord, make these faces radiant through the light of thy oneness. Strengthen the loins of thy servants in the service of thy kingdom. O Lord, thou possessor of infinite mercy, O Lord of forgiveness and pardon, forgive our sins, pardon our shortcomings, and cause us to turn to the kingdom of thy clemency. Invoking the kingdom of might and power, humble at thy shrine, and submissive before the glory of thine evidences. O Lord God, make us as waves of the sea, as flowers of the garden, united, agree, through the bounties of thy love. O Lord, dilate the breast through the signs of thy oneness, and make all mankind as stars shining from the same height of glory, as perfect fruits growing upon thy tree of life. Verily, thou art the Almighty, the self-subsistent, the giver, the forgiving, the pardoner, the omniscient, the one creator. Abdul Baha.
Thank you, Yasmin. Dorothy.
O thou loving provider, these souls have hearkened to the summons of the kingdom and have gazed upon the glory of the Sun of Truth. They have risen upward to the refreshing skies of love. They are enamored of thy nature, and they worship thy beauty. Unto thee have they turn themselves, speaking together of thee, seeking out thy dwelling, and thirsting for the water brooks of thy heavenly realm. Thou art the giver, the bestower, the ever-loving Abdul Baha.
Thank you, Dorothy. Elizabeth?
The best beloved of all things in my sight is justice. Turn not away therefrom if thou desirest me, and neglect it not, that I may confide in thee. By its aid thou shalt see with thine own eyes, and not through the eyes of others, and shalt know of thine own knowledge, and not through the knowledge of thy neighbor. Ponder this in thy heart, how it behooveth thee to be. Verily, justice is my gift to thee, and the sign of my loving kindness. Set it then before thine eyes, Baha'u'llah.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Assam?
Oh, my brother, a pure heart is as a mirror. Cleanse it with the burnish of love and severance from all save God, that the true sun may shine therein and the eternal morning down. Then wilt thou clearly see the meaning of the earth and heaven cannot contain me. What can alone contain me in the heart of him that believe in me? And thou wilt take up thy life in thy hand, and with infinite longing cast it before thy newly found beloved. Baha'u'llah.
Thank you, Assam. Kathy?
The fourth teaching of Baha'u'llah is the agreement of religion and science. God has endowed man with intelligence and reason, whereby he is required to determine the verity of questions and propositions. If religious beliefs and opinions are found contrary to the standards of science, they are mere superstitions and imaginations. For the antithesis of knowledge is ignorance, and a child of ignorance is superstition. Unquestionably, there must be agreement between true religion and science. If a question be found contrary to reason, faith and belief in it are impossible, and there is no outcome but wavering and vacillation. Abdul Baha.
Thank you, Kathy. Yasmin? And please unmute yourself.
Let there be no misgiving as to the animating purpose of the world, wide law of Baha'u'llah. For from aiming at the supervision of the existing foundation of society, it seeks to broaden its basis, to remold its institutions in a manner of consonant with the needs of an ever-changing world. It can conflict with no legitimate allegiance, nor can it undermine essential loyalties. Its purpose is neither to stifle the flame of a sane and intelligent patriotism in men's hearts, nor to abolish the system of national autonomy, so essential if the evils of excessive centralization are to be avoided. It does not ignore nor does it attempt to suppress the diversity of ethnical origins, of climate, of history, of language and tradition, of thoughts and habits that differentiate the peoples and the nation of the world. It calls for a wider loyalty, for a larger aspiration than any that has animated the human race. It insists upon the subordination of national impulses and interests to the imperative claims of the unified world. It repudiates excessive centralization on one hand and disclaims all attempts at uniformity on the other. Its watchword is unity in diversity. Shogi Effendi.
Thank you, Yasmin. And thank you to all of our readers. Friends, it is now time for the healing prayer. Thy name is my healing, O my God, and remembrance of thee is my remedy. Nearness to thee is my hope, and love for thee is my companion. Thy mercy to me is my healing and my succor in both this world and the world to come. Thou verily art the all-bountiful, the all-knowing, the all-wise. Baha'i.
Blessed are the ones who sing the attributes of Brahman, and together we all sing Namaste. Namaste, Namaste, Namaste. Blessed are the children of God. Blessed are the ones who seek enlightenment, and together we all say, Om, Om, Om. Blessed are the children of God. Blessed are the chosen ones who know there is one God, and together we all say Shalom, 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 Shalom. Blessed are the children of God. Blessed are the ones who know that Christ died for their sins, and together we all say Hallelujah. Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Blessed are the children of God. Blessed are the ones who know the
together we all say Inshallah.
Inshallah, Inshallah, Inshallah. Blessed are the children of God. Blessed are the ones who entered through the gate, and together we all say Ya Aliul Allah, Ya Aliul Allah, Ya Aliul Allah, Ya Aliul Allah. Blessed are the children of God. Blessed are the ones who unite humanity, and together we all say Ya Baha'ul Abha, 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 Ya Baha'ul Abha.
That was beautiful, Barbara. Thank you. I don't think I've ever seen that video.
No.
On progressive revelation from that standpoint. So friends, you know, every week we're blessed to have a speaker come and share with us their insights on a particular topic. This week we're honored to have back with us once again, Dr. Ruha Sobhani, who has given presentations to this community in the past on various topics. Dr. Ruha was born in Iran and has lived on 4 different continents. She earned a Bachelor's of Science degree in education and one in psychology while studying poetry and theater. She won 2 gold medals in spoken word while in Iran. After studying sociology at Yaoundé, I think I'm pronouncing that right, University in Cameroon, West Africa, she traveled through Europe, then arrived in New York, where she completed a master's degree in counseling from Hunter College, with a focus on the impact of spiritual guidance on family life for her dissertation. She later moved to Atlanta, where she resumed her art and began work on plays, intersection, and production of her poetry CD, Beyond Words. She completed a doctoral degree in globalization and cultural competence entitled How Global Education Fosters Global Identity, which was the inspiration also for her upcoming book. Dr. Ruha's cultural competence and awareness stems from a new world order which provisions and encourages global engagement, initiatives, exchange, and studies, and global dialogue. Her professional and academic commitment to translate the complexities of intercultural focus on elements of commonality throughout the global community through linguist translation and cultural translation has allowed her to serve 25 years on a diversity council, resulting in numerous seminars, lectures, as well as artistic performances. Pleased to have her share with us today. So friends, please welcome Dr. Ruha Sobhani, whose topic this morning is spiritual audacity. Welcome, Ruha.
Good morning, everyone. And I'm so delighted to be here again today. Thank you for inviting me back. So nice to see these faces, especially right on me is Azam John. I'm very honored. Some of the friends of the faith, Jennifer and others have decided to join us. Awesome. Little time, too much to share. Today I wanted to share with you something that I call a spiritual audacity. Last time and times before, a couple of times, I have shared some of the heroic acts of Persian believers at an early time. I'm so honored today that I will take a snapshot of history and honor some of these amazing heroes and stars of the West. And in history, in the life, there are moments that might last maybe hour or even a second. But in terms of the impact of those moments, if we capture them, can have an impact of a lifetime, not only on our life, but maybe humanity. And I will tell you what do I mean by that. However, the people who encounter and capture and embrace these moments, they should have some qualities, like I call it, they should be very audacious, resilience, surrender, generous. You can add other qualities, being brave. However, that quality allows them, no matter where they are and what the moment of time is, to embrace those moments for a betterment of humanity, not necessarily a comfort or seeking benefits or personal benefits. So in that sense, I will want to take a snapshot of history and moments. 1893, for maybe 10 years, maybe even 5 years, and share with you little by little what some of these moments that happened and the way it was captured by brave or insightful friends. I might say one word or one sentence or a few. My hope is you will kind of digest these moments and embrace it, hold it in. And then when you today do your walk or tell a story to friends or embrace your grandchildren or you're having dinner with the friends and family, see how we can expand these moments in our own life. And at the end of my hopefully not more than 30 minutes, I'm looking forward to hear some of the moments you already encountered. I see some friends already online that I know they are full of insight and they can share some of these moments with us. So I told you the year is what? Baha'u'llah has passed away, the prophet founder of the Baha'i faith. And then Abdul Baha is still in house arrest, right? Where is he? In Akka. Abdul Baha decided to send Mr. Haddad to United States to share the message of Baha'u'llah. And then later on, in 1893, he sends a man by the name Khairullah Ibrahim from the Beirut, and he became a physician. He was Christian. He became Baha'i, listening to some of the Baha'is in Egypt, Cairo. And Abdul Baha asked him to come to United States. He arrives in New York. As you see, I'm capturing here in like a couple of sentences or words, actually. Arrives in New York, starts his associations with different groups, trying to see how, with Mr. Haddad, trying to see how they can introduce the faith to the community to the country of United States that was very much cherished and praised by Abdul Baha. He comes here and starts some courses, and then he hears something going on in Chicago. there is this expositions, parliaments of religion, the parliament of religion, that they are being active, trying to share information on religion with people. He gets interested, so he moves to Chicago and starts these courses like our regular training courses called Seeker Truth, or Truth Seeker, Truth Seekers. And he actually organizes in a way that people go and follow steps. And he arrives there, and that expositions happens in, remember, it's around now 1894. And in Chicago, there are some people, this is Chicago, right? United States. I want you to just imagine the things that I say. It's another part of the world, right? That they are working on these introductions of our religions and have these seminars or exposition, as they call it. There is another gentleman who is actually 2 years even older than Abdul Baha, called Thurton Chase. This gentleman is very interested in religion. However, one of the gentlemen who does business, who has artistic background, and when he was young, he actually was a troop leaders in army for South Carolina troops. And what happened in American Civil Wars, United States colored troops. And you can actually see this American Civil War award that his name has been in 1997 added to that because he was wounded at that war. So he continues with his writings and poetries, and somehow he see ad for this exposition. Before that, he come across some people, and he reads something about the faith, touches his heart, goes to these exhibitions, and gradually, very soon in 1895, Thurton Chase declared his mission. You see, friends, there has been some other friends that they've been Baha'is, but they didn't stay in a faith long. However, Thurton Chase was announced by Abdul Baha as a first Western Baha'i. So now, Ibrahim Khairullah doing his things with the classes, Thurton Chase becoming a Baha'i, getting excited, writing books, writing articles, totally in love with Abdul Baha, yearning to go see him. And then what happened? There are other people are coming from other. It is still 1895, right? This is another doctor, young doctor, called Edward Getzinger. And he is also fascinated by religion. However, coming to Chicago for businesses, and then see there is a course on religion about Baha'i faith. Same time, from New York, one of the cities of New York, this young lady called Lua. Lua comes also to Chicago to pursue further education, going to University of Chicago. You see that, how they get together? And then they said, wow, these courses are wonderful. People seize moment. They went after it. Sure enough, Thurton Chase declared in 1895, Lua 1897. Lua and Dr. Edward, they became husband and wife. Okay, so just where are they now? They are in Chicago. Thurton Chase doing his businesses and writing articles and going around the world. Lua and Edward are in love and going to these classes and being very excited. I'm going to take you to California. California has a lady living there, a prominent lady called Phoebe Hertz. I'm sure the name is very familiar to, especially to my American friends. Phoebe Hertz was a wife of George Hertz. George Hertz was a very successful, rich businessman. Actually, he ran for Senate. He was a U.S. representative. In 97, they moved to Washington. But in 91, George Hertz died. You see, George and Phoebe was 19 years old. He was 41 when they married. So there was a age gap. However, they had a happy life to their acknowledgement. And what happened, also, they had a son that many of you have heard, I'm sure, by the name William Randolph Hearst, who is this big tycoon that has the newspaper, established truly a dynasty. George Hertz, the husband of Phoebe, dies, and Phoebe goes back to California, extremely rich. Who is the butler of Phoebe Hertz? Robert Turner. Robert Turner is, by some account, are the first declared Baha'i American. So they moving back to California, right? This lady is all over, generous, building libraries, building museums, extremely feminist. He is very defendant of the right to vote, supportive of women rights, extremely active, and spends his money. Also trying to travel with his son and make him aware of this. You see, friend, Phoebe Hertz was extremely instrumental in development of the University of California. By some account, she built over 30 buildings and 6 campuses, museums. And when I say museums, she donates like 80,000 articles or things that she has purchased during his travel from all over the world. So Phoebe is a huge name in terms of being prominent. When I share this with you, in the back of your mind says moments, capturing it, being audacious. So this lady is doing all the beautiful thing possible that you can do. So what happened? She comes, Phoebe remember that exposition that I was telling you? She see an article, an ad in the newspaper. Dr. Kissinger, Loa's husband, has written, catches her eyes. You see, they took time to write this in the newspaper. She immediately, which was customary, sent an invitation to Loa and Dr. Kissinger, the husband and wife, that they were in Chicago. Of course, you get invitation from Phoebe Hertz. It's like Oprah invites me. Of course I'm going. And they literally moved to California to wait to see when is the dinner date. How long do you think they waited? Months to wait for that dinner date. They didn't want to leave the post. They saw their calling. They saw the moment. How can they lose to give the faith, the message of Baha'u'llah to Phoebe Hertz? She invited them. We're not leaving. Forget about medicine. Forget about work. Forget about writing. The night comes. They go to her house. The butler, Mr. Turner, served them tea. They have dinner. And this is like usual thing for Phoebe, but not for them. And little they know that friendship lasted. Phoebe fell in love with Baha'u'llah, and yearned to see his son in Akka. What is the year? 1878. She declared, just 1 year after Lua declared, she declared her fate. Let me tell you, Robert Young was serving tea, right? Serving them, but listening to Lua, listening to the message, and told Phoebe that he also believed in this faith with the teachings that they are explaining. Lua tells Phoebe that she is yearning to see Abdul Baha. Phoebe her says, me too. Let's organize a trip. What happened? The first group of pilgrims went to see the prisoner of Akka, Abdul Baha. So just listen to these moments, feel these moments. These are not usual moments. Okay, so they are on their way. Phoebe says, I finance it. How many? They became 50. Invited some friends, some Baha'is. Robert, they're taking Robert. Torton Chase helps. Ibrahim Khairullah helps. They are on their way to go to Europe and to go to Akka. You see, friends, this is like August, September, and they are in Akka in December. So it was, just think about this time. It wasn't they got the jet 7 hours, landed in Israel. Why these trips are in making? I want to tell you a little bit about Lua. I told you this young lady went there, and she was very young, very interested in faith. And after she became Baha'i, she couldn't help herself. She just proclaimed the faith. So on their way to Akka, Phoebe Hertz had a friend, Mrs. Bullis, and that she was living in Paris with her daughter and son. They decided to stop by, visit. I actually, in one of my reading, read that they actually had a shopping day in Paris. Boy, I missed that. So Phoebe took all the ladies and they bought their hats and their proper dresses to see the son of the prophet of God, Abdul Baha. Okay, so I'm taking you, now we are in Paris, right? And they go inside to visit them and they see this very young, fragile girl in bed. And Phoebe and other Lua and Dr. Kitzinger, remember, he was a physician. He says, what's wrong with her? They said that she had some ordeal, like she was engaged, it broke off, she had some problem, she's in a deep depression. And the depression has taken over and she doesn't even want to get out of the bed. And the mother was very concerned. Phoebe says, no, you're coming with us. Where? To see Abdul Baha. At that night, rather than they share pity, they start sharing the message of Baha'u'llah while they are in Paris. They start teaching. Sure enough, Mary, that they call her May starts getting up and says, yeah, I'm going to Israel. At that time, they call it Palestine, to Akka, Palestine. The port was in Haifa. So they go. They arrive in Haifa and they have to be careful with the securities. They have to go 2 or 3 at a time to Akka to see Abdul Baha. And the first group is Lua and Dr. Getzinger. And when she said that, she wrote, before I see Abdul Baha, I know a great deal. And when I gaze to his eyes, I find out that I don't know nothing because he read my soul. And Abdul Baha told Lua to be strong, and because she was very young even at that time. Anyway, it came, the Phoebe Hearst wasn't the first one, but when they went, there was a group of three, and Abdul Baha told Lua to
Unmute yourself, Ruha. We didn't hear the last things that you said.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Somehow I went mute. I was touching. You hear me now, right? You hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay, very good. So when it came the Phoebe Hertz's turn, the group of the three went to see Abdul Baha. Robert thought that he should stay outside. And Abdul Baha immediately asked, "Where is Robert?" And they said, "He's outside." And Abdul Baha went outside. And as Robert wanted to kiss his feet, Abdul Baha pulled him up and embraced him and gave him so much love and respect. Friends, Lua and Edward stayed there 5 months, and Lua went visit at one time. When he stayed, Abdul Baha asked Lua to learn Farsi, and then we know why later on. However, then she went back again to see, to teach the families English, and she was going to Holy Land a lot and trying to. This is what is happening right now in Holy Land, right? Lua also getting permission, going Europe and then South America, and trying to teach fervently everywhere the message of Abdul Baha'u'llah. Have Lua in Holy Land. Phoebe is back in California doing her things with universities and that. Turton Chase, it is getting close to 1911. And this is the time that Abdul Baha comes to United States, right? The fruit of the work of this, if you see these pictures, you see how we see these pictures that children come, sits on Abdul Baha's lab, and have you wondered how these groups formed? And these are the foundations of this. You see, it just touches me to say it. When Lua came back in one of her trip, brought some souvenirs. And one of those souvenirs was the recording voice of Abdul Baha that we are so blessed to hear. Thank you, Lua. Who knew? Abdul Baha told Lua, "Your name in Farsi means flag, lava, and you have to go from east to west, wave, and share the message of Baha'u'llah." So she did. Just seize the moments here. Just think about this year. There is another young lady right around 1878, why 87, I'm sorry, 98, around that area that they are doing these things. Young lady, writer, interested in religion, hears something from Mr. Welm about the Baha'i faith and fell in love and goes seek Thornton Chase, and Thornton Chase start teaching her. You know what was her name? Martha Ruth. Martha was a very dynamic young lady that was so in love with faith. She declared her faith on 1909, 2 years before Abdul Baha comes. When Abdul Baha came to United States, Martha was going from city to city with him, teaching the faith. while Phoebe does her things and other Baha'is around doing their things with, going to New Jersey. Lua and Martha both traveled to Canada a lot and South America. So let me take you to the life of Martha Ruth, because I tell you why I wanted to talk about Lua and Martha Ruth. You saw the connection between Lua and Phoebe Hertz, that Lua saw the moment and went, established relationship, and caused humanity a lot of good through Phoebe. Then we go back to, how am I doing on time?
15 more minutes.
There. Okay, good. So Martha Ruth start traveling with Abdul Baha, right? However, she encounters breast cancer, and she goes to remission. She gets well for a while, and she thinks that because God wanted her to more serve. These ladies that Abdul Baha called them the Martha Ruth traveled around the world. God was on fire. Travel around the world 4 times, going from east to west, north to south. And they had, like, Abdul Baha was calling her the first Baha'i teaching traveler in the first century of the faith. He called Lua the herald of the covenant. Martha Ruth is riding and also so in love, but has this feeling inside of her that she has to proclaim the message of Baha'u'llah to everyone. So she goes from city to city, country to country, proclaim the faith. I know you guys know that there are huge books on them that you can read, but that's my point, is to capture moments, not to tell their life story. Martha Ruth goes to Europe and then goes to everywhere she goes. Now she learns these things, that I go for presidents, I go for her head of the states. She wants to go to Japan, to emperor, and US embassy won't allow him. She wants to go to see the Shah of Iran. Actually, she went to Iran. Martha Ruth went to Iran to see Reza Shah. I don't know. I heard the stories that some people remember her in Esfahan. My Persian friends, maybe they can help me if that's true. But Martha Ruth went to Iran and gave to deliver a letter. The Shah didn't see her, but she went. So here is Martha doing things, coming back. There is she hears about this queen of Romania, Queen Marie and Martha Ruth. Martha Ruth is 1 year younger than Queen, and they died within the year too. They are very close age with Phoebe Hertz. They were born in 1871, one born in 1872, one born in 1875. Lua was young. Not much, but she died much earlier. So she hears about this woman, the Queen Maria of Romania. Friends, especially my friends, that it is the first time you attending. Queen Maria is the first monarch and the queen that declared her faith to Baha'u'llah. She became a Baha'i. But this is how. Martha Ruth, yeah. Let me tell you a couple of sentences about Queen Maria. Queen Maria is the granddaughter of Queen Victoria. Remember Queen Victoria, the Baha'u'llah wrote letter? With Prince Albert. She is the daughter of their second son, Alfred. And she was a very beautiful young lady in United Kingdoms, really wanted to, one of their cousin, King George, that became King George, was in love with her. But the royal family forced her to marry Fernandez, um, in the that became the king of, Prince Fernandez became king of Romania. Although they had 6 kids together, girls and one, I believe one son, but Queen mentions that she wasn't happy. She had a very unhappy marriage. Their son, that when the king dies, the son doesn't want to deal with the crown. The grandson is inheriting. Queen is involved, and then son changes his mind and give the queen a hard time. So that Queen Maria of Romania is known for her beautiful work at the World War I and II to attend the soldiers. So people of Romania love her. They were all in love with her, as well as Europe. She was recognized in Paris, around the world, her tender heart. No wonder. Martha Ruth sent a letter, ask for permission to meet her. Keep sending it, keep sending tablets of Baha'u'llah, writings of Baha'u'llah. And finally, Queen agrees to meet her. That friendship lasts 12 years, ending that Queen declared his love for Baha'u'llah. Although the government didn't let her to go to Holy Land to meet Shoghi Effendi at the time, but she corresponded with Shoghi Effendi. You see, Abdul Baha died in 1921, and this is in late 1920. In 1923 is the year that they connected. So Queen writes a letter to Guardian and tell her this letter is in archives. Whenever you go to Holy Land, see it. That he says, and with her own handwriting, that how she says how, I'm not even looking at my notes, I'm talking from the heart, that says how these teachings have played is love everyone, how it respects or the religion of the world, and goes on why she loves the faith. And Guardian, in God Passes By, you can see that writes about her clear vision, her generosity, her audacious work in the field, taking care of the wounded soldiers, and her love. So Queen, the love affairs, Martha Ruth saw those moments, went, look what happened. Lua got the invitation, persisted, went to Phoebe Hertz. Friends, remember what I told you about that girl was in Paris in bed, not feeling well, and went to Paris? So that girl went back to Paris, so in love with the faith, start teaching, and everybody wondered what happened to her. And she met Mr. Maxwell. And they had a daughter called Ruhiye Maxwell, or Mary Maxwell, Ruhiye Khanum, who became the wife of Guardian. You see how you can see the moments happens around us? How could you miss not to take Mary Bolles to pilgrimage? When she goes back to Paris, she starts teaching, she is on fire. Mr. Raimi, Julia Thompson, on and on of these big names, is the one that Mary Maxwell thought the faith. Okay, so here is happening in between Martha Ruth and Queen Elizabeth and Martha Ruth traveling around the world. And it is Martha in 1937, a guardian in after night goes to South America, see some of the head of the states. And then I want you to know these two were sick and ill, both of them. She went to Hawaii, and it was later in 1930s, later the cancer comes back, and finally in 1938 in Hawaii, when she was, I believe, 65 or 63, she died. Some of you have been in Hawaii. I haven't. They go and see Martha Ruth and thank her for all the things she did. By the way, what happened to Thurton Chase? Thurton Chase died in 1912. Abdul Baha was in America and immediately went back at his gravesite and assigned that gravesite as a Baha'i visitation gravesite. So if you go to California, you're supposed to go and visit that grave. What happened to Robert Young? Robert Young was also young, 63, but life took its toll on him. And when Abdul Baha came to United States, there were some issues. Phoebe was a bit estranged from the faith and very involved in universities. They invited Abdul Baha, but Abdul Baha chose to go to Robert Young's home. So gradually, Robert Young says goodbye to us. Thurton Chase says goodbye to us in 1912. And then Lua is in Haifa. Lua, 1915, wars starts and bombs, the Haifa and Akka were bombarded. Abdul Baha sent Lua to Cairo to be safe. But suddenly at 43, she dies of a heart complications. No wonder these people have taken no rest. Queen Victoria dies in her home, and the story goes on, but the fruits of their life, the fruits of these moments have flourished all over. You see, friends, I cannot end today without mentioning my dear friend Carol Miller, who her audaciousness, she saw Mrs. King at the airport and told her about the faith, and Baha'is were on the board of directors of King Centers and very much participate in human rights, in equity rights, race equity rights and activities. I remember once Larry Miller introduced her as audacious. Carol, audacious. She's so audacious. Her audacity, that did. Not only that, I want to bring this talk home. So many moments. Do you remember when Henderson and Millers and others, and little Laylee was in Roswell teaching the faith? Do you remember Marietta Square and Race Unity celebration every Race Unity Day? And we all went there, as a young mother, had to carry my kids. And do you remember Izadi's firesides? And Mr. Monajim stopped teaching constantly, no matter where we were, Friday night. Here we go. The beauty of our institutions and meetings that we have, devotionals, youth activities, we are blessed because of those. And now you are paving the way forward. the next generation, for our youth to come and says, look at this moment. With the permission of the chair, I would like to invite you and some of, if I have any time left, to share some of the things that you saw there is as moments, and we need to capture to serve humanity. Again, not for personal benefits. They didn't gain anything. Poor health, died early, but for the sake of humanity. I don't know if Mr. I have to look. Mr. Thomas Rests are here. Tom and Sherry, are you here? Yes. Tom Resta? Mr. Tom Resta, you are on mute. I see them online. I text them. Before they start, I like to invite any of you that were involved in some of these moments. It doesn't need to be the Queen of Romania. It can be maybe regular people you thought, and in future you saw they were source of benefits to humanity. You passed on the street, you saw your mayor and say, Mr. Mayor, you know, my name is Ruha Sobhani, and I'm a member of the Baha'i faith, and I love to serve you on the Race Unity Youth Parade. And Mr. Mayberry told me, of course, you guys are welcome. And we did that for so many years. Maybe that happened to you guys as well. While I'm texting Tom, he has a great story to tell you. That's why I know. I like to open it to you all and share your moments with us. Please don't be shy. Have being audacious. Share with us. Matthew?
Okay.
Yeah.
I can. You were talking about Carol Miller, and I remember I didn't know her long because I came to Atlanta in 1999, but I joined her in a Book 5 study circle, and she was so relatable and so understanding, and just it was a great class. And I didn't finish the book. I didn't get to finish the book, but I really enjoyed learning alongside her and just getting to know her. And you know, I've heard stories about her, but it was like a family. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, you know, I've done all these things and I've, you know, been all these places and stuff like that. No, it was like my sister or my comrade, you know, like just the way I imagine some of these people that you're talking about, and just the humility that she had. And I just wanted to share that.
I'm so glad, Matthew. Yes, she's with us. I have a feeling she's here. Tom, are you there?
Yes.
Would you like, by the way, those of you can turn on your video. It would be nice. Of course, it's your discretions. There has been many Zoom. I have turned off my camera, but those you can, that would be awesome. So we can see each other. Okay, Tom, tell us what happened last week.
Okay, so Cherie and I watched a movie about a year ago, and this movie was about a Baptist reverend who his uncle was hung by the Klan, and he was driving through his town in South Carolina, and he saw that somebody had opened a KKK museum in his town. It's kind of a long story. He protests, and one of the Klan members tries to kill him a few times and isn't successful. This pastor, Kennedy, takes in the young man who tried to kill him. He takes him into his house. The young man who tried to kill him, inherits the Klan Museum and sells it to the Reverend. So now the Reverend is trying to turn this Klan Museum into a race unity center. So we went to see him. We went to see him initially about a year ago, and then we went back to see him again last week, about a week or so ago, because we had lost contact with him. So I had the opportunity to introduce him to the Baha'i faith for the first time. He invited us to send speakers to their events to tell Baha'i history, and but he's got this race unity center, and I'm going to let Cherie talk a little bit about details.
Hi, everyone. Yes, the theater in Lawrence, South Carolina, right downtown, is called Echo. And Reverend David Kennedy grew up in Lawrence and remembers back in the Jim Crow era when the whole town was basically still segregated. If Blacks wanted to go to the Echo Theater, they had to enter on a side entrance and go straight to the balcony. So for Reverend Kennedy to be able to buy the old Echo Theater, which, as Tom said, was an old KKK meeting place. It was the political headquarters for a state representative. It's just really great opportunity for him to renovate this and again turn it into a race unity group. He wants all groups to be able to come and tell their story. I have posted on Tom's Facebook page. It's Tom Resta, R-E-S-T-A, photos and the story of this theater, so that you can actually take a look at it. The website for this project is posted right on the marquee of the Echo Theater. So you can go to that website and learn the entire story, because as he said, it is long. If you have an opportunity to watch the movie Burden, it is a great movie, tells the complete story. And we found it in Redbox. We rented it from a Redbox. I'm not sure if it's streaming anywhere, but it is definitely.
Somebody said it was on Hulu.
Somebody said it was on Hulu. Okay, so it's a really good movie. We just are fortunate enough to live close enough that we can go over and visit him periodically. Right now they're in a fundraising mode. They have a goal of 3 million. And they have already raised over $500,000 for the project. Now,
you guys gonna continue visiting him, right?
Yes, and we have exchanged contact information, etc. So we have his email address, we have his phone number if anybody's interested, and he wants to come to visit us in Raven Gap. yeah, in the mountains there. And so, at that time, it'd be a good opportunity for, everyone to maybe meet up and have dinner or whatever and meet this gentleman.
Yeah,
what
we want
Tom had
everybody in Raven, no question.
Yes, we're getting there. We've been traveling and
Yeah.
doing doctor's appointments.
Fantastic.
But let me think. What was I saying?
Yeah, but while you're thinking, friends, we have also been in touch with auxiliary board members. I think I'll be visiting him in next 2-3 weeks. And Tom and
good.
Sherry are our cheerleader. So the point is, Sherry, correct me if I'm wrong, what they saw something and they went, and the first thing that they did was introduce him to the faith. And actually he asked for the Baha'is. Tom told me that, hey, Lord, he was saying, where are the Baha'is? And so we are this unity center, this diversity center that's going to be built, that is there in Lawrence, South Carolina, and it is Laurence, not
Correct.
Law, right, Sherry?
Right, Laurens, Lawrence.
Yeah.
And something that Tom found out that's really was interesting to me is that there are a lot of Baha'i groups in South Carolina, and in fact, the Baha'i radio station is also in South Carolina.
Right.
So if anybody has any connections to that radio station, know anyone that we could get in touch with directly, we'd like to share this story and maybe get the Reverend on the radio station, for an interview.
Yeah, those are in process. The auxiliary board members, they are trying.
Okay.
But that
Greg Kent's with the Regional Baha'i Council. He's the administrator over WLGI.
Oh, super.
Can you put the if you have any contact, to send it to me or Sherry, or put it on chat or whatever?
I'll send it to you, Ruha.
Very
That's
well.
good. Yeah, and
That
Tom,
is fantastic.
Yeah, and you can send it to Tom's email, Ruha. He looks at email much more frequently than I do.
And also, I'm going to put up the trailer for the movie on my Facebook page.
Yeah, so that you can actually watch the trailer. And again, we just sort of stumbled over this movie looking for something to watch. So
yeah, Forrest Whitaker plays.
Oh, yeah.
Forrest Whitaker does a great job playing the Reverend.
The Reverend. He's
Fantastic.
very nice man, very approachable.
Tom and Sherry are our fortress. Their home is our fortress in Rabun County. We just find them out. We got to know them. Is it like 4 or 5 months?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
4 or 5 months, but been a blessing. Great. Thank you for sharing. I love to hear others. I'm sure every one of you from Atlanta, from Gwinnett, you have stories of this type of event that happened. I wish Amara was here. I was talking to Jamila. Oprah Winfrey actually went to Amara's home. Anybody has details on that? And Jamila told me that she knows about the fates very well.
Oh, one thing before I forget it, he had a recent visit by Kamala Harris. Kamala was in South Carolina, and the next day after we met with him last Sunday, and he mentioned that they'd been in touch with him and that she wanted to talk to him. So I don't know what came of that meeting, but I'm sure she has an interest in the project. So it'll be interesting to find out more from him about that visit. But yeah, she was in South Carolina.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Gwen Ellis, I know you guys have lots of stories. I know you smile, but I know you have.
Yes, but these are wonderful stories. We know my husband Ernest and I lived in Southern California, and for many reasons, it was difficult to teach where we were. And we said, as we get older, we have to be someplace where we can serve, because many times we brought some people who were interested in the faith to our group, and it was sabotaged. And they sometimes would become a Baha'i. And anyway, I don't want to go into the negativity, but at any rate, before we died, we wanted to be someplace where we felt we could be utilized and serve Baha'u'llah, because I don't want to go to the Abha kingdom and he says, what did you do for the faith? And I go, well, so Ernest and I, 5 months ago, moved from Southern California to Carrollton, Georgia, where there are no Baha'is. I don't know why we moved there, except that that's where Baha'u'llah put us. And so we've got a good foundation with spiritual things that have happened in the past, but now we're serving Baha'u'llah. And we just built a deck on the back of our house, and we're going to have barbecues. But if you're going to have barbecue, you have to come to our devotion first. No praying, no eating.
Maybe that's Mary Laura. Maybe that's a good strategy for us to remember.
So, awesome. And I tell you, my dear Ruha, your storytelling of these wonderful events were so real. I felt as though I was with you. And it brought such tears and joy to my heart. And thank you for sharing it, because these are the kinds of things we need to hear. There's so much negativity out there, and we need to know, we need to realize that every little thing we do and every person we meet is coming into contact with us for a reason. I'll tell just a quick story. I was born and raised in Davenport, Iowa, and people say, Davenport, Iowa, the stork got lost or something. But anyway, that's where I was born. And when I was in 4th grade, my teacher at that time was Margaret Chance, who is Hugh Chance, who was on the Universal House of Justice. They lived in Davenport, and she was my 4th grade teacher. And when every day before we started our class, in the United States, we would put our hand over our heart and say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. We did that, but Mrs. Chance also had us recite the noonday prayer. So at that young age, that was my first, taste of the Baha'i faith. And then years later, I met she and her husband when Caswell and I were married, and she knew them. So you don't know. Whoever crosses your path, there's a reason why. And yes. Your stories have proof of that. And I thank you for that.
Of course, my pleasure. I think we are almost at the end. I don't want to take your times because I know it's Father's Day and you guys want to go celebrate. So to end with I like to end with how I started. There are moments in life that comes to you to meet you, that if you don't confront them, if you don't capture them, might be a lost thing. But if you have that audacity in you, embrace it and try to serve the faith or share the message for unity and for the benefit of humanity, then those moments becomes memories, becomes history, ever and eternal. It will last forever. If I get invited again and come back, I will share with you about some other woman. Today I was doing a snapshot, but I don't know how many of you have heard Phoebe Baker, the Australian photographer, and the heroic things that this lady did. It's another talk. However, my point is, I leave you with wishing you to look to your heart, embrace the moments, whether it is that devotional you have tonight, whether it is that Father's Day event that you have tonight, whether it is the walk across the neighborhood and your neighbors that you never said no. We never know what will happen. Believe me, we never know. So, with that, I wish you spiritual audacity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruha, for sharing these beautiful historic expressions of spiritual audacity. So inspiring, so loving, so warm, so ingathering. It was just absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. And if you have more at some point, please feel free to come back and share more or even repeat some of what you already said. It's absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. This time, friends, we'd like to welcome any guests that we might have present today. If you are a guest or consider yourself a guest, please feel free to share who you are, where you're from, how you happen to be with us today. And this includes Baha'is visiting from out of town or sojourners recently returned to the area. We'd love to hear from you. And if you have any, we have visitors?
Well,
yes, please.
Aloha, friends.
Aloha.
My name is Mary Laura. I am a Baha'i from Norgunet. And I am delighted to have come and join today, and especially hear the talk of my dear sister, Ruha. And just to say that how much I enjoyed your talk and how much I need to research and know, because I am familiar with Martha Ruth's name, Lua, Phoebe, you know, those names that you have mentioned. But yeah, I'm gonna try to look some books and see, and it's so inspiring. And you know, our role as Baha'i is that teaching effort and that forming those groups, and you know, that was very inspiring. And thank you, Ruha Jan.
My pleasure. I love you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary, for that. Anybody else? Any other guests present here today?
Agnes Ivory.
Hi, Agnes. Welcome. Aloha.
Aloha. I was invited by Gwen and Ernest. I enjoyed the conversation, but I wish that Dr. Elaine Locke and Mr. Lewis Gregory have been included in the history, especially here in the United States, so that we can have something to identify with and the contributions that they have made, especially Dr. Elaine Locke. Thank you.
Let me say something before. I truly appreciate you and I know exactly what you're saying. But I want you to know that I thought about if I to include many. Remember, I said I have a snapshot of 1893 till when that ended actually in 88, and then there was just follow-up of those. But of course, Mr. Turner by itself, Mr. Louis Gregory, and other friends, they deserve their own time to really see the sacrifice that these people did and the lesson that we learned from them. And I'd be honored to do that next time. But please understand, I was not picking and choosing. It was just selecting two examples. Happened, these two powerful ladies were taught by two powerful Baha'is that happened to be a woman. If Louis Gregory taught Phoebe Hearst, I would have done that. So please see, my view was not to exclude, just to a snapshot. But thank you very much, and I listened to that, and I maybe next time I can do that differently.
My point is just to include. That's all.
Absolutely. Oh yes.
Thank you.
Good point. Very good point. Appreciate.
Thank you, Agnes, for that. And thank you, Ruha, for explaining what you presented for us today. And are there any other comments from anyone else in terms of visiting today? And if not, just so everyone knows, our program today was recorded and posted to the South DeKalb Baha'i Unity Center YouTube channel, which all you have to do on YouTube is type in South DeKalb Baha'i Unity Center, where you can view it and you can invite others to view it as well. Just to let you know, our upcoming speakers for next week, actually, we have Counselor Nwandi Lawson, who is going to present, and her topic is going to be pursuing patterns of action with unabated vigor and determination. So you know that promises to be truly outstanding as well. So looking forward to that. And you'll see details about it and how to access the link later on in the week. Also, please remember that the food distribution program is every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Baha'i Unity Center in the parking lot. So please spread the word to help combat food insecurity within the community. And for members of the Baha'i faith, you're warmly encouraged to make a financial contribution to the South DeKalb Baha'i Fund, the Sandy Springs Baha'i Fund, and our National Baha'i Fund through the online contribution system at ocs.baha'i.us, or locally you can mail a check to the Baha'i Unity Center at 2370 Wesley Chapel Road, Decatur, Georgia, 335. Friends, many thanks to all of those who worked together to make today's program possible, our beloved speaker, Dr. Ruha, our volunteer readers for today, and Barbara Hennix, who keeps us moving forward, the spiritual assemblies of the Baha'is of South DeKalb and Sandy Springs. And thanks to all of you for sharing your day with us. I am Hermione Pickens. It's been a pleasure. Until next time, stay safe and well. We will end now with a closing prayer for the departed. Barbara, are you putting that up or am I looking it up on my phone?
You're looking it up.
Okay. Got it right here. We'll do the short one. Oh my God, O thou forgiver of sins, bestower of gifts, dispeller of afflictions. Verily, I beseech thee to forgive the sins of such as have abandoned the physical garment and have ascended to the spiritual world. O my Lord, purify them from trespasses, dispel their sorrows, and change their darkness into light. Cause them to enter the garden of happiness, cleanse them with the most pure water, and grant them to behold thy splendors on the loftiest mount.